What if I told you that a fun ski trip could turn into a horrifying fight for survival? Imagine being stuck high above the ground, with no food, no phone, and no way down. The cold bites into your skin, and as night falls, you hear something moving below. Something with sharp teeth and hungry eyes. Sounds terrifying, right? Well, this is exactly what happens in today's story. A chilling survival thriller where every wrong choice could mean death. Stay with me because this one will leave you breathless. Dan, his girlfriend Parker, and his best friend Joe head to a ski resort in New England for what's supposed to be a fun, relaxing weekend. The three of them love winter sports, except for Parker, who can't snowboard. Ski lift tickets are expensive, and they don't want to pay that much for it. Parker, being the smooth talker and of course a charming and beautiful girl, bribes the ski lift operator to let them all go up together. A little rule-breaking for one last ride. What could go wrong? At first, everything is fine. The lift starts moving, and the three of them are hoisted high into the air, ready to enjoy their final run of the day. But then, something unexpected happens. The ski lift suddenly stops. For a moment, the trio sits there, confused. Did it break down? They wait. Then, just as suddenly, the lift starts again. They laugh it off. They reach the top, spend some time on the slopes. Dan and Joe spend the whole day watching her fall over, laughing at her struggles. When the evening rolls in, they decide to head up one last time before the resort closes. They return to the ski lift and remind the operator Jason about their little bribe. He hesitates. The resort is closing early because a storm is coming in. But Dan convinces him and they board the lift. What they don't know is that this operator is about to leave his shift. A new guy, Rifkin, who knows nothing about them, takes over. A group of skiers comes down the mountain. Rifkin assumes these are the last skiers, so he shuts down the lift. The ski lift stops moving, and the resort closes for the night. Dan, Parker, and Joe dangle high above the snow-covered ground. At first, they laugh it off. Another technical issue, and they say. Then friends are just annoyed. They assume it's another small delay like before. Any minute now, someone will start the lift again. The lights go out. Minutes turn to hours. Then the realization hits. Everyone is gone. No one knows they're up here. Panic starts creeping in. And worse, the resort is closed for the next 5 days. Now they are stranded, high above the ground in the dark, with a blizzard closing in. A snowcat vehicle drives by. Its driver, Cody, almost spots them. They shout for help, but their voices are swallowed by the howling wind. Cody is called back to base. They scream for help. He goes away and all their hope fades. Their breath turns to mist in the freezing air. Parker loses her glove while smoking a cigarette, leaving her hand exposed to the deadly cold. They have to get down. Dan, always the leader, makes a decision. He jumps. Snap! His body slams into the hard-packed snow. A sickening crack fills the air. He screams. Parker and Joe watch in horror as Dan writhes in pain. His legs are broken. He tries to move, but his bones poke through his skin. Blood stains the snow. Joe comes up with a daring plan to climb the cable to reach another chair that's closer to the ground. But when he tries to climb, he slips due to the ice all over the cable. Then, a sound. A wolf appears. Parker throws her snowboard to scare it off. It ran away. Dan is helpless, trapped in the snow with 2 broken legs, and now they're not alone. Night falls, the temperature plunges. Dan's body shivers violently. Parker and Joe watch from above, unable to help. Joe tries again to climb the cable and move towards the next chair, but he couldn't manage to move much as cable starts to cut his gloves. He retreats just in time. Parker and Joe watch in terror as the pack surrounds Dan. The wolves pounce. Teeth tear into his flesh. His screams turn to gurgles. The wolves rip Dan apart, his screams fading. Parker screams in pain of losing him. Then Parker and Joe sits there all night helplessly. After some time, they try to blame each other for letting him jump. Argument gets intense, but realizing morally they both didn't want Dan to die, they console each other. Then they just discuss about what would they do if they came alive out of this nightmare. By morning, the snow is quiet again, but Parker and Joe are still stuck. Parker wakes up in agony. Her right hand is frozen to the metal bar. She musters all her strength and pulls it free, ripping skin off in the process. Her face is numb, frostbitten. They are waiting and expecting someone will come. Maybe for maintenance, but no one comes. Then Parker asks Dean why he didn't have any girlfriend, and he tells her story from freshman year about his ex. Then he talks about how he and Dan becomes friends in school. Parker also talks about how she wanted to marry Dan. Joe knows they can't stay up here. He decides to climb the lift cable, but in his attempt, the chair is also now not safe as one of the bolt is loose from the top. His hands get shredded on the sharp metal. He pushes forward, inch by inch. A wolves is seen passing by below. He makes it to a lower chair. Blood drips from his hands. Few wolves are seen waiting for him down. Dan asks Parker to throw his ski pole down wards as far as she can, so that he can use it for his defense. She throws it far from his reach once he gets down. Dan then climbs the cable again to reach to the nearest support pole. He reaches there and starts climbing down. But the wolves are waiting. He barely makes it to the ground before the wolves attack. He fights back, using a ski pole as a weapon. He immediately grabs Parker's snowboard and slides down the mountain. The wolves chase him. Parker watches in horror as he disappears into the trees. And then, silence. Joe never comes back. Another night passes. Parker is alone, weak, freezing. She knows she won't survive another night. She makes a choice. Instead of waiting for Joe, she decides to jump. Just when she tries to jump, the lift chair snaps. It crashes down, crushing her ankle. She screams, but there's no time to stop. She crawls, inch by inch through the blood-stained snow. Then she sees it, a streak of red in the snow. She follows it and finds Joe's body. The wolves got him too. The pack watches her, hungry, but they didn't attack her. Why didn't they attack her? Let me know your thoughts in comment box. She keeps going. She has to. She reaches the road. A car approaches. A man steps out. She hears Dan's voice in her head. "You'll be okay, baby. You're gonna be okay." But after everything she's been through, will she ever be okay? This story is a brutal, terrifying fight for survival. What would you do in Parker's situation? Let me know in the comments. If you love gripping survival stories, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I've got more thrilling stories coming your way, and you won't want to miss them. Stay safe, and maybe think twice before taking that last ride up the mountain.